The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2025, have Billy making a commitment to Sally, Jack, and Diane, sharing words of wisdom with Kyle, and Claire and Holden teaming up against Audra. Kyle and Claire don't have the market on romance in Genoa City. Billy and Sally are also a couple that's meant to be together in Genoa City. Billy and Sally are very supportive of each other. He's brought her into Abbott Communications. She's advised him on when he's getting ahead of himself. On Wednesday's episode, watch for Billy to make a commitment to Sally. Is this a personal commitment in the form of a marriage proposal? If so, which of them is going to be doing the asking? It's also possible that Billy will be asking Sally to make a professional commitment. Maybe Billy wants Sally's help in getting Chancellor Industries back under his control. Jack and Diane have given their son Kyle advice on not rushing into a marriage proposal with Claire. On Wednesday's show, they're going to share some words of wisdom with their son. If any couple knows about how to hang in there for the long haul, it's Diane and Jack. They had their ups and downs and times apart after she married Victor and he wed Phyllis. Diane's death was another obstacle in their lives. She came back into Jack's life, and the two are together now, happily. Kyle has caring role models in his life. If he's wise, he'll take Jack and Diane's words to heart. Audra has been manipulating folks for months in Genoa City. She tried, and failed, to seduce Kyle away from Claire in France so that Victor would fund Vibrante. The cosmetics competitor learned her lesson, and she came clean to Nate earlier this week. But turning over a new leaf may have come too late. On Wednesday's show, watch for Claire and Holden to team up against Audra. Holden's been carrying a bit of a torch for his ex, but she's rejected him at every turn when he's tried to stay in her life. Claire is not happy that Audra was playing games with her true love, Kyle. Will Claire and Holden outwit Audra? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The young and the restless Victor Newman has been a major character on the show for a staggering 45 years. In that time, we've watched him rule the Newman family with an iron fist. Sometimes we root for him, especially when he vows to protect his family at all costs. Other times, though, his behavior drives us crazy. Here are just 4 of Victor's annoying traits that we've noticed throughout the years. Die-hard fans of The Young and the Restless know that archenemies Victor and Jack Abbott will never see eye to eye on anything. For a while, they actually did call a truce. During that time, they miraculously had a calmer and more peaceful relationship, and they coexisted as frenemies. It was a relief and a joy to watch them behave that way after all their years of mutual hatred. But in 2024, pill addict Jack tried to help Nikki through her alcoholism by popping pills again. Victor was furious with him for putting her life at risk, which reignited their feud. Nikki has asked Victor to stop waging war against Jack, but Victor won't back down, even for her sake. Victor has declared his hatred for the entire Abbott family. Wait a second, Victor. What about the Abbott women? We know he doesn't like Diane, although he was married to her years ago. But he did truly love his ex-wife Ashley, who was Nikki's longtime rival. He shares a daughter, Abby, with her, and for the most part, Victor and Ashley are still on pretty good terms with each other. So he doesn't hate her, does he? And what in the world could he possibly have against Tracy, who is probably the sweetest character in The Young and the Restless? She even donated her daughter Colleen's heart to Victor in 2009 when he needed a transplant. He definitely hates Jack's brother, Billy Boy Abbott. The fact that he repeatedly calls him that childish nickname every time Billy's name is mentioned is similar to the sound of nails on a chalkboard. And we know Victor doesn't want Kyle to date his granddaughter Claire, so maybe Victor should make it clear that he only hates all the Abbott men. As much as Victor loves his family and does anything to keep them safe, he has repeatedly made them jump through hoops to prove their loyalty to him. He has unbelievably high expectations of his children. Maybe that was why Nick left Newman Enterprises years ago and ran the underground bar for a while before he eventually returned to NE. He wanted the freedom to do his own thing without Victor breathing down his neck. Adam was so determined to prove himself to Victor that he raced like a bat out of hell to Nice, France, to warn him that the mysterious Aristotle Dumas was buying real estate all over Genoa City. Also, Victor put Adam in an impossible situation by pressuring him to use Newman media to attack Billy. After Chelsea vehemently told Adam she refused to work for the company if he did what Victor ordered him to do. Victoria has also feuded with Victor over the years in her struggle to become CEO and retain the position. In 2023, Victor even pretended to have dementia because he was afraid one of his children was going to betray him. What in the world, Victor? One of Victor's most annoying faults on The Young and the Restless is his constant interference in the love lives of both his children and grandchildren. He even went so far as to have Victoria arrested on her wedding day to Billy. He told nice guy Cole Howard, "You're not good enough for my daughter," because Cole called Victor's lawyer Michael after he found Jordan imprisoned in an underground cell in Victor's home. Most recently, Kyle felt compelled to sign a contract that he would pay Victor $5 million if he broke Claire's heart. In short, Victor drives everyone in his orbit crazy in various ways. But if he didn't, he simply wouldn't be the great Victor Newman, love him or hate him. The Young and the Restless scoop for Tuesday, September 2nd, reveals Claire Newman will say no to Kyle Abbott's marriage proposal. Also coming up, Victor Newman will put the pressure on Cain Ashby. Plus, Phyllis Summers will accuse Amanda Sinclair of lying to her, and Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins will grill Phyllis. Y&R spoilers tease Diane will spot Phyllis walk into society and over to the bar. Jack will smile and wave at her. "Jack? What are you doing?" Diane will ask. "Just follow my lead," he'll advise her. Phyllis will walk over to their table and talk about how great it is working with Cain. Jack will say they heard Cain had a change of heart, and Phyllis's face will drop. However, she'll lie and say everything's a go. Then Amanda will arrive to meet Phyllis, and Jack will put her on blast and leave. "We're not the targets," Phyllis will tell her. "It's Cain. Jack wants to know what he's up to, and frankly, so do I." But Amanda will say there's nothing to tell, and, "Yes, there is. You're lying to me," Phyllis will reply. Meanwhile, Cain will show up at the ranch to tell Victor he's turning down his request to take down the Abbotts. "I need to focus on my family right now." Victor will say he gets it, but asking him to partner up against Jabot wasn't a request. It was an order. Connie will say he's sorry, he just can't do it. Victor will threaten to use Newman Media to tell everyone how he earned his fortune. So, Cain will ask Victor why he wants to team up with him in the first place. Victor will say he knows he and his team have developed an AI that can infiltrate any company. Not surprisingly, Cain will deny it and say the technology does not exist. "I know it's possible. I know you have the wherewithal to do it," Victor will reply. Cain will tell him that sort of technology should be used for good, not a power grab. "You and I will use the software to destroy Jabot and take it away from the Abbotts once and for all," Victor will insist. At the Abbott estate, Kyle will ask Claire what's wrong. "This is so sudden I wasn't expecting it," she'll reply. She'll ask when he bought the ring, and Kyle will say earlier today. "Right after our fight?" she'll say. "This is just you trying to fix what you did." But Kyle will say she has it all wrong. However, Claire will remind him she said she needed time. "The next thing I know, you're inviting me to dinner and asking me to marry you," she'll add. "The way things are going, I have to wonder what's next. Are you going to suggest we have a baby?" Kyle will say he's sorry for all of it. "The idea that you and Audra were that close," Claire will say. Kyle will say he wished he'd never done it. He'll add that Victor and Audra Charles' plan, it almost worked, but it didn't. "It almost worked!" Claire will exclaim. "How close were you to sleeping with her?" "Us." Kyle will realize he put his foot in his mouth and say he was never going to sleep with Audra. Then he'll ask if they can please forget about Victor and Audra. "Do you not see what kind of a big red flag this is that you would keep this from me?" she'll ask. "That's not the kind of relationship I want." Claire will add he's damaged the trust she had in him. Kyle will say he loves her and very much wants her to be his wife. "I believe that you want that, but I need time to think about this," she'll reply. So, Kyle will ask if they can rewind and pretend he never proposed. However, Claire won't be able to handle it, she'll leave. Kyle will cry as she gets up to go. He'll lean in to kiss her goodbye, but she'll turn her head. Claire will end up at Crimson Lights. Esther Valentine will try to talk her out of ordering a fully loaded latte, but Claire will say she likes to live dangerously. She'll turn around and see Holden Novak. He'll laugh and tell her Esther tried, and also failed, to talk him out of a double espresso. Claire will tell Holden it's been a day. "If you'd like to talk about it," he'll reply. "It looks like both of us will be up for a while." Finally, Claire will change her mind about the caffeine. "I feel like getting drunk. I've never been, and I'd like to try it," she'll say to Holden. "Care to join me?" Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, September 3rd, reveal that Audra Charles will face double trouble, while Kyle Abbott tackles a tough challenge. Billy Abbott will also make a promise to Sally Spectra, so here's what Y&R fans can look forward to. For starters, Billy will have an important conversation with Sally, who may have lingering concerns about his chancellor plans and his decision to let her run Abbott Communications. Sally may worry about something going wrong and affecting their relationship, but Billy will offer reassurance. In fact, Billy will make a promise to Sally that he hopes will ease her mind. We'll see Billy make some sort of a commitment to Sally, so what's it going to be? Billy doesn't seem to be in a marriage proposal headspace right now, but he could at least vow that he's in this for the long haul. Billy may promise that nothing's going to stand in the way of their future or their career goals, but will Sally be convinced? Over with Kyle, he'll remain down in the dumps after his disastrous dinner. Although Kyle was hoping for an engagement by the end of the evening, he'll be left to wallow in his own bad choices instead. Fortunately, Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott will come through for Kyle with some advice. Patience isn't Kyle's strong suit, but Jack and Diane may push him to truly respect Claire Newman's wishes this time around. It seems like Kyle can see why the proposal was a mistake, so he may agree he has to back off and let Claire set the pace. However, it'll definitely be a challenge for Kyle, since he's so eager to restart his life with Claire and get past all the Audra drama. Speaking of Audra drama, she could be in double trouble thanks to Claire's strategy session with Holden Novak. Claire has never been drunk before, but there's a first time for everything. It looks like Holden will help Claire with her drunken wish, so that'll loosen Claire up and make her determined to seek Audra payback. Holden will be on board with that plan, so he'll join forces with Claire on Wednesday's Y&R episode. And that could lead to disturbing news for Audra. Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily Yap for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On The Young and the Restless, Victor has always been good at intimidation to get what he wants, except now he's up against Cain. Sure, it was easy to threaten someone like Kyle, whose ego gets the best of him, and he ends up biting off his nose to spite his face, or Jack, who is better at being ruthless, but always at the mercy of either luck or having to save someone he cares about, rather than taking down the mustache. And then there's Billy, who Victor underestimates and is willing to play the long game. But Cain's a whole other ball game, and we like it. Cain's better at not showing his emotions, keeps a poker face in all situations, and can think fast on his feet. So when Victor threatened him, blackmailed him, and ordered him to help him take down Jabot, Cain just shrugged it off. And maybe it's because of Victor's ridiculous accusation that Cain had hired Phyllis, and she was capable of hacking anything and installing AI stuff into all the major businesses' software to take them down. Okay, so forget that it's giving all kinds of Paragon memories, but if that's what Victor believes, that Phyllis is the key to Cain's success at taking over Genoa City, why blackmail him? Why not just befriend and hire Phyllis like she offered months ago? Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not? Forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the As Close as We Can Come to Being a Watching Party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the show's offering a huge Clare Newman pregnancy hint. But will the baby daddy be Kyle Abbott or Holden Novak? In the September 2nd episode, Clare went on a tirade after Kyle's marriage proposal. Since Kyle rushed right into asking Clare to marry him, she lashed out and wondered if he'd suggest they have a baby next. Kyle joked around with a "not yet" before realizing he needed to get serious about trying to fix the mess he made. However, we have to consider the possibility that Y&R just dropped a major clue about Clare's looming pregnancy. It was a little odd for Clare to blurt out that baby comment, so this could be the show's way of telling fans what's to come. It's possible that a pregnancy storyline is indeed in the works for Clare, so let's consider how things might go down. Clare's on the verge of getting drunk with Holden, so there's a chance they might land in bed together. Even if it doesn't happen now, it could happen in the not-too-distant future, especially if Clare and Holden make it a habit of drinking together excessively. Drunkenness often leads to big mistakes on soaps, so Clare really needs to keep that in mind. If Clare does hit the sheets with Holden, the guilt might drive her back to Kyle and give her a new secret to keep. Clare might hop back in bed with Kyle and end up pregnant, leaving her wondering who the father is. Of course, it's also possible Clare will remain faithful to Kyle. That could still bring a pregnancy shocker, since Clare certainly isn't planning on having a baby anytime soon. That said, it'd be far soapier if there was another bio-dad option. Holden has grown close to Clare lately, and could be a baby daddy candidate too, depending on where Y&R wants to go with all this. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that there could be a Dylan McAvoy recast twist. Is Nikki Newman's son and Sharon Newman's ex-hubby returning? Steve Burton departed the show back in 2017 when Dylan went into witness protection, but perhaps the danger will get sorted out and allow for Dylan's return to Genoa City. GH and One Life to Live alum Roger Howarth has joined Y&R in a mysterious role, so fans have been speculating about who he might portray. Since the show's being so hush-hush about it, there's a good chance Howarth is playing someone important. Howarth may step into a familiar role with multiple connections in GC. It's possible Howarth will be a Tucker McCall recast, but it's wise to consider other options until the show confirms his character. Social media users have been speculating about Howarth potentially stepping into the role of Tucker, but another popular theory has emerged too. Some fans think Howarth might be playing a Dylan recast instead, so that's an interesting possibility to keep in mind. Dylan is Nikki and Paul Williams' son, so it'd be nice for her to reconnect with him after his time away. Of course, Dylan is also Sharon's former husband, so she might have an opportunity to fall back in love with him. With Nick Newman growing closer to Sharon again, we could imagine some great love triangle drama if Dylan comes back on the scene. Nick might fight his half-brother for Sharon's heart if Dylan ends up returning. Even if Howarth isn't the one playing a Dylan recast, someone else could portray him instead. Michelle Stafford hinted on Instagram about more surprises being in the works, so there could be some other cast additions coming up. Would you like to see Dylan back in Genoa City in some form? Do you think Roger Howarth would make a good Dylan recast? Or should the role go to another actor instead? Young and the Restless, 2-week spoilers for September 1st, 12, 20, 25, see Kyle Abbott is rejected, and Cain Ashby is furious. On Monday, September 1st, it is Labor Day. But we should be getting a brand new episode. Claire Grace Newman shows up to dinner at the Abbott mansion, and Kyle is flattering Claire, telling her how much he loves her, how great she is. Kyle admits he was stupid to push to expose Audra Charles' scheme, and assures Claire he was really going to tell the truth, just not while she was grieving her dad's death. Kyle really wants her trust back, but Claire says it's going to take some time. Kyle's not giving her any time at all, asking Claire if she still wants to move in together, because Adam Newman's ready to sell his apartment to them. Kyle talks about how great Claire is with Harrison Locke, and then Kyle proposes. Claire's jaw drops, and not in good way. Audra tries to get close to Nate Hastings again, but he reminds Audra she walked away from him. Audra Charles tells him she wants to work things out, talking to Nate about making a commitment to him and how she's changed. He just wants to hear the truth. Audra finally admits she did make a dirty deal with Victor Newman, but insists she would never have slept with Kyle. Nate is completely appalled that she would break Claire's heart this way. Audra tries to justify it and asks Nate for another chance, but he says Audra chose business over him. Nate cannot live with her betrayal, so they are done. Amanda Sinclair sees Audra and Nate's spat and tells Audra she saw her and Kyle looking cozy in France, but Audra insists that was strictly business. Later, Victoria Newman consoles Nate about splitting from Audra. They talk about losing Damian Cain and Cole Howard. Nate says what Victor and Audra were doing to Kyle and Claire was awful. Victoria agrees, but says Victor backed down, though she's skeptical that's true. Nate says he is done with Audra forever. Diane Jenkins and Jack Abbott worry about Kyle's hasty proposal to Claire. They blame Victor for the issues the kids are having, and Jack wants to take Victor down for good. Jack tells Diane that Billy Abbott has a plan to get Chancellor, but they worry about Billy L. being unreliable. Still, Jack and Diane agree that taking down Victor is worth it. Diane tells Jack if they do this, he cannot worry about Nikki Newman getting hurt in the process. Diane says they have to put Kyle first. Jack finally agrees after Diane reminds him that Nikki always makes excuses and enables Victor's bad deeds. On Tuesday, September 2nd, Kyle is surprised by Claire. I believe this is her giving her answer to Kyle's proposal. I don't think it's going to be a diamond yes. It's going to be more of Claire being upset that Kyle just didn't hear her about needing some time. He did this bad thing, then he lied, and then she feels like he only told the truth because he was cornered. She just wanted a minute to breathe and process and think it through, and he didn't listen to Claire, so he is still making these mistakes. Amanda does something risky for Phyllis Summers on Tuesday. I wonder if she's going to advocate to Cain to keep Phyllis on board. Amanda may even tell Phyllis about Cain's winter's plan, without his permission. Whatever it is, Amanda is sticking her neck out, and that's never a good idea where Phyllis is concerned. Plus, Victor will not budge with Cain. Victor is pushing Cain to show up and help them destroy the Abbott family. Either that, or he's going to release that info on Colin Atkinson that he thinks is going to tarnish Cain's brand. On Wednesday, September 3rd, we've got Holden Novak teaming up with Claire for payback on Audra. Obviously, that's for plotting against her and Kyle and making that dirty deal with Victor. If you remember, Holden was all about Audra, but now he's all about Claire. I think Holden is going to be on board to help whatever Claire wants to do to Audra. He's the perfect co-conspirator. Diane and Jack have some advice and comfort for Kyle. I'm guessing he's going to come to Jack and Diane upset that Claire shut down his proposal, which of course Diane and Jack expected would happen. I'm guessing Jack and Diane say, do what she asks, give Claire the time. But Kyle probably won't listen again. Sally Spectra gets this surprise on Wednesday when Billy makes a commitment to her. I don't think he's dropping to one knee to propose. I would be stunned if he did. Maybe he's going to ask Sally to move in. Thursday, September 4th, Michael Baldwin gets a new opportunity. I wonder if the Winters family needs a new lawyer. There are a lot of businesses in Genoa City, but most of them Victor would be outraged if he went to work for, and that's always going to be a factor in Michael's decision-making, even if it shouldn't be. Claire absolutely loses it on Audra. Obviously, that's for trying to break Claire and Kyle up and putting Claire in this terrible situation she's in now. I think Audra's attitude is going to be that she's paid enough because she lost Victor's money and she's lost Nate. But I don't think Claire's going to stop. Audra poked somebody who was raised to get revenge on Young and the Restless. She messed with the wrong girl. Nikki prepares a romantic night for Victor because he's always romancing and spoiling her. On Friday, September 5th, Phyllis oversteps and may ruin things for herself yet again. I'm very worried that Phyllis is going to betray Amanda's confidence and get them both in trouble. Lily Winters presses Cain to be honest. If Lily's coming back around asking him about his real plan, no way Cain is going to tell the truth because he's coming for Lily Winters' company. Now, I don't know why he thinks that's a good idea since he wants to get back with her, but that's his plan. Victor gets his family ready for battle, but I wonder if Adam and Nikki will really help Victor target Jack and Jabot. Going after Cain, going after Billy, that's fine. But Claire and Nikki will be upset. Maybe Adam too. But Nikki always lets Victor get away with everything on Young and the Restless. I don't think Claire will, though. The week of September 8th through the 12th, Cain makes a decision. When Victor's driving this hard bargain with him, Cain's going to have to decide how far he's going to let Victor push him. The problem with a blackmailer is if you give in once, they will never go away and they will never stop. The Newmans are ready to strike at Jack and Diane at Jabot. We'll see if any of the Newmans actually warn them because they don't want Victor going after them. This whole feud thing is just tired. I don't even know why Josh Griffith is doing it. The excuse for it about the Nikki sobriety thing is so thin and so inaccurate that I just don't understand it. Phyllis is left scrambling, and Michael makes a decision about the offer that was made to him. Claire and Audra's war escalates, and Kyle is pleading his case to Claire. Holden is making himself very available to Claire, and Diane and Jack are quite worried about Kyle and what's going on with Victor. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, September 2nd, reveal that Kyle Abbott will crash and burn with Claire Newman while Cain Ashby plays Victor Newman's game, at least for now. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle will hope for good news as he awaits Claire's answer to his marriage proposal. Unfortunately, Claire won't give Kyle the one he was expecting. Y and R spoilers say Claire's response will throw Kyle for a loop, so all signs point to her rejecting his ring and refusing to be his wife. Claire may have a furious reaction considering she just got through telling Kyle she wanted to take things slowly and move one step at a time. Instead, Kyle is jumping right to planning a wedding, so it's easy to see why his plan will end up crashing and burning. Over with Victor, he'll remind Cain of the leverage he's holding over him. Victor will back Cain into another corner as they strategize and plot Jabosi's takedown. Cain already admitted he didn't have much of a choice when it came to teaming up. On Tuesday's show, Cain will apparently strike a more official deal as he plays Victor's game for the time being. Of course, Cain will secretly be working on a new game of his own. Victor won't know Cain is continuing his Genoa City domination scheme, so he'll be unaware of the bold moves that Cain's still planning to make. Meanwhile, Amanda Sinclair will make a gutsy move for Phyllis Summers' sake. Although some tension erupted between Phyllis and Amanda in Nice, Phyllis recently pushed her to meet for drinks and seems eager to get their bond back. Amanda still considers Phyllis a friend, even if Phyllis pushes her buttons and tests her limits sometimes. That's why Amanda will go out on a limb for Phyllis somehow on Tuesday's Y&R episode, so maybe she'll spill a secret. Cain told Phyllis that he was calling off his takeover plans and refused to commit when she pitched the idea of doing his dirty work. Since Phyllis is really working herself into a tizzy over all this, Amanda may come clean about Cain's true agenda. Cain wants Phyllis and Billy Abbott to spread the word about him bailing on his goals, which will keep the attention off him. That'll give Cain a chance to plot privately and make some moves that no one will expect down the road. Perhaps Amanda will give Phyllis updates on the truth and assure her that the plan is still moving forward. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis has more messes in her future, so stay tuned to CDL for all the corporate chaos to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Roger Howarth's upcoming mystery role could be All in the Family. Even though Roger won't appear for a few weeks, starting taping in mid-September, might he be a recast for Cain Ashby's twin? Caleb Atkinson, former General Hospital actor Roger Howarth, is heading to Genoa City this fall. He has been cast in a secret role on The Young and the Restless. Howarth will begin filming in mid-September, giving us ample time to guess who he might portray. While it's quite possible that the actor will take on a new character, let's consider a dramatic twist. What if Howarth is bringing back someone connected to Cain from the dead? It would require some clever writing and a significant retcon, but Cain could certainly benefit from having his brother alongside him, or even better, as a source of conflict. Just imagine if Howarth is cast as Caleb Atkinson. It has been almost 15 years since Caleb passed away, which puts the CBS soap in a great spot to change his character. But a bullet hasn't stopped a resurrection. Caleb is Cain's identical twin, which complicates things a bit, but he could always have undergone plastic surgery. The last time fans saw Caleb, he was part of a storyline where Colin Atkinson was trying to take Cain and Lily Winters as twins. The plot was to take Maddie and Charlie Ashby to Australia, However, in a twist, it turned out that Cain was pretending to be his brother, and it was actually Caleb who got shot. Colin accidentally took Caleb's life. Of course, he mourned the loss, yet eventually found a way to move forward. The soap opera highlighted the reconciliation between Cain and Colin years later. The reformed criminal transformed his life, accumulating wealth, while the bad brother became a mere afterthought in history. But what if Caleb was still alive all these years, unbeknownst to anyone? What if he had been lurking in the background, observing the father he remained loyal to, as he devoted all his focus to the brother who went astray? Such a situation would surely foster resentment, wouldn't it? And provide mysterious and exciting drama for fans? Cain abandoned his ambitions to take control of his competitors' businesses. He didn't want to inherit the same legacy as Colin, a legacy that valued building an empire over family. Caleb wouldn't have such a hesitation, after all. His family would have abandoned him. And if Cain doesn't achieve the goal of making Genoa City's elite suffer, then he could. All while putting his brother at a disadvantage, and Phyllis Summers could also be involved in this scheme. She supported Cain's plan and was fully committed. He might be done with it, but she definitely isn't. Michelle Stafford took to Instagram to share her enthusiasm for Howarth's upcoming role in Y&R. In reaction to his casting, she posted, "Our show just got a little more bada. Just so you know, more surprises to come. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for The Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates." The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Kyle Abbott is slated to propose to Clare Newman during the week of September 1st, 5. Of course, Claire will likely say yes, and she'll be ready to start planning the wedding of her dreams. In the land of soaps, a wedding can be whipped up in mere days, or it can extend to months. Regardless, it doesn't seem like Claire will tie the knot, and all this wedding talk is just fluff to unleash some drama. Could this storyline be a way to set up Summer Newman's return? Summer's exit was sudden and unexpected when she headed to Milan to recruit staff for Marchetti. With that said, the door is wide open for her return. Since she left Genoa City, Summer has been talked about a lot, not only by her parents, Nick Newman and Phyllis Summers, but also by Kyle himself. It seems that Harrison Abbott took a trip to see his mom recently. The writers continue to keep Y&R fans updated on Summer, and this is a clear sign that a return is on the horizon at some point. While she's not on canvas, her name hasn't vanished from storylines at all. In fact, there was a very interesting scene recently where Phyllis and Nick talked about why Summer hadn't returned to GC. Sure, she's met a hot new designer boyfriend, but the bigger reason for her absence seems to be the fact that she hates being a witness to Kyle and Claire's romance. What will Summer do when she finds out that her cousin is set to marry her ex-husband? Will Summer storm back to her hometown to stop the wedding? That's a typical Summer move. With that said, could Allison Lanier reprise the role, or would the character be recast once again? Do you miss Summer? Are you #Team Kyler or #Team Skyle? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out this site often for the best Young and the Restless updates, spoilers, and news. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, September 3rd, reveal that Audra Charles will face double trouble while Kyle Abbott tackles a tough challenge. Billy Abbott will also make a promise to Sally Spectra, so here's what Y&R fans can look forward to. For starters, Billy will have an important conversation with Sally, who may have lingering concerns about his Chancellor plans and his decision to let her run Abbott Communications. Sally may worry about something going wrong and affecting their relationship, but Billy will offer reassurance. In fact, Billy will make a promise to Sally that he hopes will ease her mind. We'll see Billy make some sort of a commitment to Sally. So what's it going to be? Billy doesn't seem to be in a marriage proposal headspace right now, but he could at least vow that he's in this for the long haul. Billy may promise that nothing's going to stand in the way of their future or their career goals. But will Sally be convinced? Over with Kyle. He'll remain down in the dumps after his disastrous dinner. Although Kyle was hoping for an engagement by the end of the evening, he'll be left to wallow in his own bad choices instead. Fortunately, Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott will come through for Kyle with some advice. Patience isn't Kyle's journey CI in strong suit, but Jack and Diane may push him to truly respect Claire Newman's wishes this time around. It seems like Kyle can see why the proposal was a mistake, so he may agree he has to back off and let Claire set the pace. However, it'll definitely be a challenge for Kyle since he's so eager to restart his life with Claire and get past all the Audra drama. Speaking of Audra drama, she could be in double trouble thanks to Claire's strategy session with Holden Novak. Claire has never been drunk before, but there's a first time for everything. It looks like Holden will help Claire with her drunken wish, so that'll loosen Claire up and make her determined to seek Audra payback. Holden will be on board with that plan, so he'll join forces with Claire on Wednesday's Y&R episode, and that could lead to disturbing news for Audra. Zuleika Silver's recent screen partner ruined their photo shoot. The young and the restless star Zuleika Silver has a flair for the camera. When she's not playing Audra on the CBS soap, the actress is often doing photo shoots. However, her latest shoot didn't go quite as planned. Most of the time, Silver is solo or posing with her co-stars for a photo shoot. But for her recent shoot, her adorable cat Hemi was her partner. Silver soon learned that it's not easy posing for a picture with a furry friend. On Instagram, Silver shared some outtakes from her and Hemi's shoot. In the photos, the star is wearing jeans and a black tank top as she curls up next to her kitty. Although Hemi looks uncomfortable and annoyed in most of the pictures, he and his mom made a cute pair. Trying to have a photo shoot with Hemi was an epic fail. He was late to his call time, moody, demanded snacks, yelled at the photographer, and changed the blocking. The actress joked. Hemi ruining the photo shoot isn't the only trouble he's been getting in. I love him more than I can explain. Pero his catitude. He's been biting my butt recently. I can't even pray or meditate in peace. Maybe I'll pray for his deliverance next. Hemi seems like a handful, but Silver wouldn't trade him for anything. Just like his famous mom, Hemi is gradually becoming a star. Last month, the feline was included in a video featuring Y&R pets, recreating the show's iconic opening. And then Claire ends up spending some quality time with Holden. Interesting development. For the Tuesday, September 2nd episode of The Young and the Restless, spoiler photos focus on Claire answering Kyle's sudden proposal. Later, Kyle possibly licks his wounds while having a conversation with his parents, and Claire is at Crimson Lights with Holden. You see, that's not the facial expression of a woman feeling love and light right now, despite Kyle being down on one knee. He's holding the ring out and undoubtedly asking Claire to marry him, but she doesn't look happy with her man. She looks like she's about to dash his hopes, dreams, and illusions. Or maybe she delays answering his question altogether. Speaking of facial expressions, the one on Kyle's face screams defeat, and maybe even a little despair. His relationship with Claire probably isn't over, but it's certainly not heading to the altar anytime soon. Thankfully, Jack and Diane are there to listen to what happened. Maybe Kyle will actually take their advice this time. If he had just listened to them in the first place, he never would have asked Claire such an important question at the most inopportune time. While Kyle tells his parents what happens, Claire heads to Crimson Lights for some coffee and contemplation. Or maybe she wants a pastry so she can eat her feelings. Instead, she runs into an espresso-drinking Holden, who lights up in her presence. They may want to head to Society or the Jazz Club for something even stronger than espresso, because on Wednesday, Claire and Holden make a vengeful decision. Sean Dominic delivered an unforgettable month on The Young and the Restless, bringing raw emotion and simmering intensity to Nate's journey as he confronted lies, faced his grief, and sought connection with family. In August, The Young and the Restless placed Nate Hastings front and center, and Sean Dominic rose to the occasion with a series of standout performances. Whether facing betrayal from Audra, mourning the loss of his brother Damien, or grounding himself in scenes with Lily and Devon, Dominic brought depth and honesty to every moment. His ability to balance strength with vulnerability made Nate one of the most compelling characters of the month, and earned him recognition as Soap Hub's Performer of the Month. Sean Dominic showcased his best work this month in scenes opposite Zuleika Silver's Audra. After weeks of suspicion, Nate finally pressed her into revealing the truth about what really happened in Nice. Dominic played Nate's persistence with a measured intensity, his frustration visible in the smallest shifts of tone and expression. When Audra tried to deflect and shift blame, Dominic's Nate didn't back down. He delivered a layered performance that highlighted Nate's intelligence and determination, while also showing the emotional weight of betrayal by someone he thought he could trust. Dominic also brought depth to Nate's quieter moments of grief following Damien's death. His scenes captured the pain of a brother struggling to balance his own sorrow while offering support to others. Whether it was his raw reflection on Amy's struggles or his quiet vulnerability when discussing Damien with those closest to him, Dominic carried the weight of loss with subtle strength. It wasn't just about sadness. He conveyed the complicated layers of mourning, from disbelief to quiet resilience. Dominic brought a quiet intensity to Nate in his scenes with Victoria, following Cole's and Damien's deaths. His performance captured the weight of grief and the complex mix of loyalty, guilt, and longing for connection. Every glance and pause conveyed a depth of emotion, making their interactions feel raw, authentic, and heartbreakingly human. Harkening back to when Victoria and Nate shared more than friendship, equally compelling were Dominic's scenes with Lily and Devon. Together, the trio created a portrait of cousins trying to find stability in chaos. Dominic's Nate became the thoughtful middle ground, pressing for truth, but also yearning for unity.